A large portion of the Jewish nation has returned to its homeland, but the heart, soul, and mind of much of the Jewish nation are still in exile mode. This state of affairs must and will inevitably change. This is Torah Nation TV from Jerusalem, and we are speaking with the head of Machon Shiloh, Rabbi David Bar Chaim. Shalom, Rabbi Bar Chaim.
Shalom.
It says in Sefer Bereshit, Parashat Chayei Sarah, chapter 24, verse 62 as follows: V'Yitzchak ba mibo be'er lachai ro'i, v'hu yoshev be'eres hanegev. What does this verse mean?
This very question has been asked over the centuries by many of the Mefarshim. The first obvious difficulty with this pasuk is that it seems, in fact, superfluous. Because if we read the pasuk before and the pasuk immediately after, we could easily maintain the thread of the story, one would imagine, and not lose anything. If we were to read pasuk Samach Aleph, verse 61, we read there that Rivka, who is being brought to become the wife of Yitzchak, rode on the camels that were brought to take her back, and they followed the servant of Avraham. And then we have the pasuk we just quoted, speaking about Yitzchak coming from a place called Be'er Lahai Ro'i. And then it goes on to say that Yitzchak went out into the field, as we'll see in a moment, to pray and to meditate, and then he saw the caravan of camels and people coming towards him. And of course, Rivka was a part of this caravan. So the question has been asked by many of the Mefarshim, why do we need this pasuk at all? We could just read that Rivka and the caravan led by the Eved, the servant of Avraham, reached a certain point near where Yitzchak Avinu lived, or where he was at that point in time, and he happened to have gone out into the field to pray, to meditate, and he saw these people coming towards him in the distance. Why do we need to be told that Yitzchak had just come from Be'er Lahai Ro'i? So the first thing is to understand exactly the wording and the lashon, the language of the pasuk of this verse. Pasuk Samach Beth reads, Yitzchak ba mibo Be'er Lahai Ro'i. This is an unusual construction, and the only reasonable way to understand it is that ba mibo, the word bo, is the makor, is the essential form of the verb to express the general concept of coming or arriving. In other words, it is the form of the verb that is often used to describe a habitual action, something which is done frequently. So therefore, the pasuk Yitzchak ba mibo be'er lahai ro'i means Yitzchak was coming back from Be'er Lahai Ro'i. In other words, he had gone to Be'er Lahai Ro'i, and he was now coming back from Be'er, or he had just come back from that place. The implication being that this was something that he did frequently. This is also what we understand from Targum Onkelos. It says, Yitzchak al b'methohi mibera de malach kayama ittahzi ala. In other words, Yitzchak was coming from having gone to Be'er Lahai Ro'i. So also we find in the Ramban. The Ramban writes, "V'yitachen ba'avur hayoth mibo mekor." Because of this form of the verb, the essential form of the verb known as the mekor, shehaya Yitzchak holech tamid ala makomahu. This would seem to imply, says the Ramban, that Yitzchak frequently, very frequently, went to this place, Be'er Lahai Ro'i. Why? Ki hu lo makom tefila ba'avur heraoth sham hamalach. Because this was a place to which he frequently went to pray and to meditate, because this was a place that he knew that the angel of Hashem had appeared to Hagar, as we read in the previous parasha. And the fact that the pasuk ends with the words "V'hu yoshev be'eres hanegev" comes to tell us the simple fact that he was able to visit this place frequently because he lived in the general area of the Negev, which is near this particular place called Be'er Lahai Ro'i. Similarly, we find in the Perush of the Radak, he writes on the word mibo, the verb as we mentioned in the unusual form of the makor, he says, mibo'o shehaya ragil olechet lesham. In other words, this was his practice. He often went to this place. The question, of course, then becomes, why did Yitzchak frequent this place? And the answer to that is actually given in the following pasuk, because we see in the following pasuk that Yitzchak was a holy and spiritual person who spent a lot of time and put much emphasis on connecting with Hashem by way of prayer and meditation. And that is what we see in the following pasuk. It says in pasuk Samach Gimel 63, "Vayaseh Yitzchak lasuah basadah lifnot arev," that he went out into the field in order to meditate and to pray. This is the translation in all the ancient sources, to pray. We find this in the Targum Onkelos, l'sala'ah, which means to pray. This is also the translation of Rav Sadia Gaon. This is the perush of almost all the ancient sources. And Chazal clearly understood it in this fashion, and on this basis they connect the tefillah of mincha, the afternoon prayer before evening, and connect it to Yitzchak Avinu. So lasuah basadeh is like siach. Suah and siach are the same verb. The waw and the yod, those two letters are interchangeable, and we find the word siach or siha in the Tanakh in many places in the context with the meaning of prayer. For instance, in Tehillim, asiha wa ehemeh, I will pray and cry out to Hashem, etc. So we see that Yitzchak was a person who frequently prayed, and this is also the intention of the pasuk before it says that he went out to pray in the field. Not only did he pray in the field, he also went to particular places to pray. This was something that he did on a regular basis, as we just mentioned the name of a number of the Mefarshim. The Shadal also makes this point. This was a place, Be'er Lahai Ro'i was a place that Yitzchak went to very frequently. This also, by the way, teaches us not only the importance of prayer and the fact that this emphasis on prayer, the importance of connecting to Hashem and speaking to Hashem from the heart is something we learn from our forefathers. Not only that do we learn from these Pesukim, we also learn that there is a special kedusha, a special sanctity attached to particular places, to geographical locations, not as some people claim that according to Judaism there is no particular sanctity attached to any geographical point or piece of real estate. This is not true. The very opposite is true. We see here that at that time for Avraham Avinu and for Yitzchak Avinu, the place where the Malach, where the angel was, where he appeared to Hagar, this was a particularly special and holy place, and Yitzchak frequently went to that place. So we learn from these Pesukim, the importance and the centrality of tefillah, and how much we need to concentrate on this aspect of our lives and our connection to Hashem. And we have to also learn from these Pesukim the importance of the place in which one is to be found, where one finds oneself, and the difference in kedusha and sanctity between different places on the planet. Not all of the planet is of the same level of kedusha. Some places are more conducive to connecting to Hashem than others.
Thank you, Rabbi Bar Chaim. We would like to encourage our viewers to share these videos with friends and send in your responses. We would also like to suggest the following opportunity to our viewers. If you identify with Rabbi Bar Chaim's message and would like to sponsor or dedicate a video interview with the rabbi in honor or memory of a loved one, if you would like to obtain Birkon Nusach Eretz Yisrael or invite the rabbi for a speaking engagement, please email us at office@machonshilo.org.